Hello and welcome once again to Bute Road. Thank you once again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the last 3 videos without me gibbering away. Probably a bonus. I enjoyed the running sessions and it was just nice to have a little break and do something different. But I've got some good scenics to show you in this video. So we'll get on with that. There'll be some running as well and something new to show you. Let's get on with that now. Right, let's get on and show you some ballasting now. Right, well I finally got around to starting doing a little bit of ballasting, and the mix I'm using, I normally use the Gauge Master Engage ballast for 00, which is the GM115, but in the pot that I've got here, which is an old ice cream tub, there was some brown ballast in here, which was Woodland Scenics B73 the buff, and also there was some B71 dark brown. I left that a little bit in the bottom. It's probably only a little half a cupful, and then I've added some fine grey B75 ballast to it as well. So this mix is a mix of really 3 or 4 different colours, so you've got a nice mixture of the several different greys that come with the Gauge Master ballast, the lighter grey that comes from the Woodland Scenics fine grey, and there's a little specks of brown in there, so it gives quite a nice effect on the ballast itself. So I don't know how that's coming out in the light, but so I'll show you now just how I do this little bit. Oh, sorry. So just taking a little bit of the ballast, not too much at a time because you don't want to end up spilling it everywhere. Lay a little bit in the centre, run my finger down, and that takes away the worst of it there. I do the same along the outer edges and to form a ballast shoulder with the cork along there, and then same sort of thing, just run my finger along and then I've got a nice ballast shoulder forming around there as well, and the same on this side. So just go around and run my finger around there, and that levels the ballast off and gives a nice sort of finish on there. I've got to be a bit careful because I tracked in through the outer edges, so I've got to be careful not to catch my fingers on that. And then just take a paintbrush. You can do that with a paintbrush if you want. You can just go along gently using the weight of the brush, no more than the weight of the brush, just to do that. And then finally, to get the ballast off the sleepers, just give it a little tap. That takes the ballast off the sleeper tops before you finally wet it and add the PVA. Just now I mentioned the tapping method on the sleepers, and as you can see here there's ballast over the top of the sleepers even after I've gone along with my finger. But doing this, and as if by magic, all the ballast has gone off the top of the sleepers now and has gone down in between. So that's the way to do it. There we go, and there's a better view of the sleepers now with the ballast suitably tapped in between. Another little job I do is once the dry ballast is in position, I go through the points and I make sure there's absolutely nothing in the V's or in any of the moving blade parts at all, and make sure that's all okay. And then I take a little bit of light engine oil and I just put it into the mechanism, into the mechanism either side of the point, not where the blades are, but on the part that moves underneath the other rails. And that way when I'm ballasting, if any PVA gets in there, it's less likely to stick because there's oil in there. But don't overdo it. And then with the ballast still dry, and before I wet it, I've set a couple of trains running. They will help shake down the track as well and make sure that everything's clear through the points and no problems. And also make sure that there's no lumpy bits sticking up alongside the sleepers anywhere, and that I've got no problems. When I'm doing the actual ballasting, I've got a spray bottle, and it's just water and a little bit of washing up liquid in here, and I just very lightly from a distance so as not to disturb the ballast. I'm going across the baseboard join because the PVA will break across there anyway. And then once that's done, sorry, I didn't mean to get my arm in the way. Once that's done, I've got a bottle of 50/50 PVA and water with a little bit of washing up liquid, and I just run it in. And as you can see, like when I'm doing the scenics, PVA, it will disappear and that will set the ballast off nice and hard, and that will run in. So that's all we do. Sorry, it's difficult holding the camera and trying to work in the ballast as well, but you can see where I've gone along there. And this is a piece I did earlier, probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago, and you can see that the PVA is already soaked into the ballast, and this area was done within the last 15 or so minutes. So that's all nice and starting to soak in and dry already. One thing I do is, as you're probably aware, I pin the track on the outside of the sleepers. So I put the fine wire pins in like I've got there on the outside of the sleeper. Once the ballast has gone hard, I can go around and pull all those little pins out, and I haven't got to worry about catching my fingers on nails and pins then. So yeah, all done, all done. Apart from the yard, still got the yard to do yet. couple more little jobs done. I'll put some PVA on the slipway and just use some beach sand, appropriate I suppose, just to do the slipway. But I've also built up an embankment to form the cutting in this corner, and just got to cover that with PVA and masking tape now. I've made the top so it comes off. One little screw there just to hold it. The scenery will blend in with the lower half. That will lift off so that I can get to the tracks underneath for cleaning, etc. The screen blocker will come out from the end of there, and the back seam lifts out as well, so I can get to all that area if I need to. So that's that corner tidied up and done. So that's the masking tape and PVA on. Next job, coat of green and brown to give it a dark colour, ready to put the undergrowth on. So now with some green and brown paint on the hillside, ready to put some flock on afterwards. I've just put some bits of walling in position, may use them there. You may remember in the previous video I showed them along the bottom. Well, along the bottom wouldn't work, they would actually be higher up. So we're looking at maybe something like that. We'll have a look at that later on once the green paint's dried and we know where we are. But at the moment, that's it, yeah. I'll just show you this piece of the walling here where I've the wall joins are actually here over that board and here over on that board, even though the baseboard joint is here. And the reason for that is when I'm lifting the lifting flap, it actually comes away and gives me plenty of clearance there, so I can come up and down with the lifting flap and it drops back into place and there's almost no join in the wall. Well, there we go for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing the new Freightliner service that's just coming around again now. I need to expand the fiddle yard next. I need to make it wider to get more tracks in, but also a bit more length in the fiddle yard so that I can add a couple more wagons to the Freightliners and for other stock once I get that as well. So that's a job for the future. But in the meantime, really pleased with the new Freightliner service, and it's another addition to the fleet. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.